Hi children, hope you are all doing well. Now let's come back to our lesson. We were discussing about microorganisms, and till now we learnt about antibiotics and vaccines. Now these antibiotics and vaccines are which we have taken from the microorganisms only. That means we are discussing about the uses of microorganisms. Till now what we were discussing? Uses of microorganisms. Are these the only uses of microorganisms? No. Still there are few more. That's why we need to learn about microorganisms as a chapter, and more importantly we are learning it as two in chapter 3 as two parts we are learning. What are the further uses of microorganisms? Microorganisms, for example, let us see. 78% of our atmosphere is filled up with nitrogen. 78% of our atmosphere has nitrogen in it, and our body, almost every living organism needs nitrogen in it for its survival. We always talk only about oxygen for breathing, but most of the times we do not consider as nitrogen as an important thing. And I'll tell you what, when I keep thinking, I am not asking you also to think the same way, but everyone has the freedom to think in your own different ways. When I first came to know that 78% of atmosphere is filled up with nitrogen, why did God do that disproportionately? He should have filled the earth's atmosphere with oxygen. 78% of oxygen, because every living organism requires oxygen, I thought. But the fact is, the proportions of these which are present on earth make the living possible on earth. In what way? All the living organisms need nitrogen, but directly from the atmosphere no organism can take. And for anything, maximum, for most of the things, we all depend on plants for most of the things. And for nitrogen also we depend on plants. Make it a point of remembering this, children. Not only for oxygen, we are depending on plants even for nitrogen. Then how? Let us see. Actually 78% of the atmosphere is having nitrogen in it, but plants cannot. Now just now what did I say? We all depend on plants for the nitrogen. Okay, now we will think that plants are taking this 78% of nitrogen and they are preparing food, and from there we are getting the nitrogen, we are thinking. But that is not the way. There is an indirect way of getting the nitrogen. Plants cannot take the nitrogen which is available. Atmospheric nitrogen the plants cannot take. So how can the plants take? The plants can take only the nitrogen which is dissolved in the soil through the roots. Are you following, children? So dissolved in water, present in soil through roots. Now let me tell you once again. Plants take nitrogen for their life processes, but they cannot take atmospheric nitrogen. So what nitrogen can they take? They can take only dissolved nitrogen in water. Dissolved means what? In water only. In water, which is present in soil through their roots. Through their roots. Now you need to remember one particular microorganism which you might have learnt in your 6th class and 7th class lessons. That is Rhizobium bacteria. What is it? Rhizobium bacteria. Sometimes this also will not help you to remember or recollect, because it is a boon to forget things, children, but don't always think it is a boon. Rhizobium bacteria. Where did you hear about Rhizobium bacteria? You heard in connection with leguminous plants. Leguminous plants. Now I know that you are remembering the things what you learnt in your previous classes. To make it further easy, what I say is all the pea varieties, pea plants. Okay. Now you might have got everything clear in your mind. Now you will remember more when I keep telling this about this Rhizobium bacteria. Now let us see. Atmosphere has 78% of nitrogen. Plants cannot take the atmospheric nitrogen. They need the nitrogen which is dissolved in water, present in soil, which can be taken through their roots. So how can the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, come into the soil and get dissolved in water? For that, they are done with the help of rhizobium bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria are present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Now do you remember, children? Root nodules of leguminous plants, that means all the pea variety. And these rhizobium bacteria will convert the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble nitrogen. Then that soluble nitrogen is taken along with water through the roots to the plant. And in plants, the proteins, carbohydrates and fats are produced. And now we take the plant, then we get nitrogen. You understood, children? The indirect way how we get nitrogen from atmosphere is through plants. And plants also get through bacteria. So here directly we are not depending even on plants. We are depending on bacteria. Okay, now I have explained too much for you. I'll make it more simple. I'll make it more simple, but always remember like a story, children, then it is easy. There are certain bacteria. For example, rhizobium bacteria, Anabaena, nice name, no? And then Nostoc, and then Azotobacter, and some of the fungi. These are all present in soil. Where are they present? They are present in soil. These are all soil microorganisms. Soil microorganisms. What do? They convert atmospheric nitrogen to soluble nitrogen, which can be taken by the plants. Now the plants can prepare their food, and through plants we are getting the nitrogen. We are getting nitrogen. Now what do this, for example, let us see rhizobium bacteria. It is present in the root nodules. Imagine this is the root. Okay, it will have the nodules like this. The bumpy root system will be there for the leguminous plants. Bumpy root system. Okay, the groundnuts, peas, all the varieties, leguminous plants. In these root nodules, if you cut them open and very carefully prepare a slide and observe, you find rhizobium bacteria. What they do, they take the atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into soluble nitrogen, and it is released into the soil. And the plant will take how much it requires from the soil through water it will take. And now leguminous plants are seasonal plants, no? They will be removed. Even if they are removed, in the soil what is left? Soil still has nitrogen in it. That's why we call it's important for rotating crops. Crop rotation will help the soil to stay fertile. Why it is fertile is because importantly nitrogen will be there after leguminous plants are the crop of leguminous plants are there. After the crop is reaped or harvested, still the soil is having lot of nitrogen, which is important for the plants to grow well. Paddy will grow very well after groundnut is grown. So crop rotation, it helps in crop rotation. For crop rotation, usually farmers go for leguminous plants because they can make the soil more fertile. So the soil will become still has a lot of nitrogen, and now the plants will absorb the nitrogen. Likewise, you have Anabaena, Nostoc, Azotobacter, fungi. These are all soil bacteria. We will learn about more uses of soil bacteria with an activity in our next session. No, not next session. Now let us learn. What is that? You might have heard about compost pit, right? What is compost pit? I'll tell you now. Compost pit or pot. Suppose you don't have available land area, you can use a big pot. Now what you have to do is, imagine this is a pot, or you dug a pit. You dug a pit, whichever, it should be like this. Okay, right. Now fill this with, first you dig the pit, and now fill it with loose soil. Loose soil, children. Remember, you should not fill the soil and thump it like this and get it make it so hard. Loose soil you have to fill it with. Like the same here also. Either that or this, children. I am not asking you to do both, that or this, but I want you to make two. Either compost pit or a pot. Compost pit or a pot. Fill it with loose soil. That much level you fill it with loose soil. Now what you do is, in one of it, all the biological waste. Biological waste means what? Leaves, fallen leaves, kitchen waste, newspapers, not newspaper as it is, children, torn bits and pieces of newspaper. In one of it you leave like that. In another one you put plastic covers, brushes, and then all the plastic spoon, like that, all the plastic things, glass, like that you put. And now cover it with soil again. Okay, now what is your work? For 3 weeks, every day you take some water and sprinkle on this, and sprinkle on this. Every day equal amounts of water, sprinkle in pot A, sprinkle in pot B. Like that for 3 weeks you do. And the 4th week sometime you dig it out. And what do you notice? You don't see the leaves, they get already crushed. You don't see the kitchen waste, you don't see the newspapers. Everything is mushy, and fortunately you can use this for plants and as nutrients. And now when you dig this, the glass is as it is, plastic spoon is as it is, plastic cover is as it is, no change there. And moreover, what do you notice is the soil is also getting a kind of bad smell, and it is not biodegradable. This is non-biodegradable. So here degradable. They became degradable. They become decomposed. The leaves, kitchen waste, paper, everything became decomposed. That means what helped them to get decomposed? Bacteria, microorganisms. What helped them to we cannot see. When you filled it with soil, did you check whether microorganisms are there or not? Microorganisms are there in the air, in the water, in soil also. The microorganisms which are present in the soil, they decomposed this, and now you got a fertile soil. Okay, and microorganisms could not decompose them. So this is the use of microorganisms. Remember, children, it increases the fertility of the soil. But if these are added, the fertility is spoilt. So be careful how you are growing your things, how you are taking care of the soil. And another important thing is, bacteria help in cleaning the sewage. Remember the bio toilets in trains, children? If you go to, if you might have travelled any time, certain trains will have toilets on top. They mention bio toilets. That means bacteria are fixed inside. You are not supposed to throw any plastic material or clean it with acid, because acid will kill the bacteria, no? So the bacteria inside will decompose the sewage, and it is not wasted in any way. So this is what the bacteria, microorganisms, this is the way microorganisms help us. Is this the only thing? Let us see what are the other things that microorganisms do to help us, or the rest of the harmful microorganisms we'll learn about now in our next session. Okay children, bye bye.